What's going on, everybody? Leroy Bickerstaff here, coming at you guys with another video. We're going to be going on and talking about some of the new information that has come out the last 48 hours regarding this Deshaun Watson situation. We're going to be talking about the Tom Pelissero tweet from yesterday regarding the NFL's rule and what their position is regarding the commissioner's exempt list for Deshaun Watson and the potential for that. We're going to be also talking about what the NFL is going to do in terms of their investigation, who's going to be leading that for the NFL. We have had some pretty big news and reports and statements, I should say, try to use the right word for that, but statements by Deshaun Watson, by Kevin Stefanski, that is very interesting. Rusty Hardin, Deshaun Watson's attorney, also came out with a statement, as well as Tony Busby, the attorney who has been leading the charge with a bunch of women who have accused Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct and assault. He has also released a statement on his Instagram. We're going to be getting into that. But this is kind of a part two of my previous video from Monday. So if you guys have not seen my video from Monday, I highly encourage you, if you guys want more information and want to hear my thoughts and opinions as the allegations had come out, the day of, probably I want to say within an hour after the allegations were made public. I highly encourage you to go watch that video and then come back to watch this one. This is sort of a part two of that old video. But without further ado, we're going to get into today's video. I'm going to try and cover a lot, but I'm going to try and make it a lot really concise for everybody, so we're not here for too long. All right, so bear with me right here, but let's get started. Tom Pelissero yesterday came out with a tweet essentially saying that the NFL has been reviewing, or is going to be reviewing, this case under the personal conduct policy, which is what the NFL did the last time that they were reviewing the 20 plus allegations made against Deshaun Watson for sexual misconduct. They're going to be doing the same thing this time, but obviously this is a way different accusation. This is sexual assault. I personally, it's rape. It's that we have to be honest. It's rape. It's a very graphic description of what this woman is accusing Deshaun Watson of doing. But they're going to be looking into that with the personal conduct policy. This is what they did with the other accusations made against Deshaun. But Tom Pelissero had said that the NFL is not going to put him on the commissioner's exempt list, which is what Mike Hall is currently on, the draft pick from Ohio State with the Browns, who had a domestic violence incident in, I believe, August, the beginning of August. He is currently on the commissioner's exempt list, and according to Tom Pelissero, Deshaun Watson will not be joining him on that commissioner's exempt list. He will still be able to play football. So for the immediate future, Deshaun Watson, his future, at least in terms of Cleveland Browns football, being the Cleveland Browns starting quarterback, is safe for the time being. The NFL is not going to really do anything much on that front. And they're going to be conducting their own investigation, and that is going to be led by Lisa Friel, who was also the lead prosecutor and investigator for the NFL in Deshaun Watson's old case that was being investigated back in 2022. And she also was going with, trying to get Deshaun Watson suspended for his other allegations back in 2022. So a lot of old people, a lot of old names that you may have forgotten about or you may remember, they're all coming back. Tony Busby, Rusty Hardin, Lisa Friel, they're all coming back again. Seemingly we cannot escape those guys, unfortunately. But she's going to be leading the investigation for the NFL in terms of reviewing the personal conduct policy, reviewing the statements made by Deshaun Watson and the Jane Doe accuser. She's going to be looking into those different statements and reviewing his alleged actions, I should say, under the personal conduct policy of the NFL, just like they did last time. And she'll make her decision, and we'll go from there. But I just had to say, and warn everybody who's expecting, a quick resolution to this. There's really not going to be a quick resolution for this. I would not be shocked. Maybe closer to the end of the season. Maybe, I don't know. If by some miracle the Browns are in the playoffs, I don't expect them to make a decision by then. But then again, I could be wrong. I'm expecting something to happen within probably next season. I would probably say after this season, in the off season, I would expect something to get. I would expect a decision made by the NFL. Um, I would probably be expecting something after this season in terms of a resolution to this by the NFL. But we also had a couple of huge developments because what I said on Monday, I was reading the article made by Mike Florio at Pro Football Talk. He was the man who absolutely broke this news on Monday. But he mentioned, and I made the highlight, and I said that we had a look at the chapter 42, or not chapter 42, the paragraph 42 of Deshaun Watson's contract that was made available, that the Browns could essentially get out of Deshaun Watson's contract if there was a new allegation made against him, and if he had to be suspended, if he was suspended, if he got hurt in any non-football related task, that the Browns could essentially void his contract. Um, there was basically a stipulation that said that if Deshaun Watson did not disclose any other allegations, any other, you know, incidents that could be made public to the Cleveland Browns in writing, that Deshaun Watson's contract could be voided and that the Browns would be able to get out of the contract. Well, we had a big development, I would say. For at least personally, I would think it's a big development. In terms of Kevin Stefanski and Deshaun Watson spoke today to the Cleveland media, and Kevin Stefanski was asked to comment on a situation, and one of the reporters, I forget who, asked Kevin Stefanski, essentially, were you guys, at least Kevin Stefanski, were you made of, known? Did Deshaun disclose, or Rusty Hardin or anybody disclose to you that Deshaun Watson would have another accusation? And Kevin Stefanski flat out said, no, we did not know about this until Monday. So if that is the case, that is pretty huge in terms of, what the Browns may be able to do in the future if Deshaun Watson gets in, any sort of punishment from the NFL in terms of this allegation made against him. And even Deshaun Watson said so. Deshaun Watson said they did not know about this allegation until the day it happened. So Deshaun Watson even confirmed what Kevin Stefanski said, that he did not know about the allegation made against Deshaun Watson when they traded for him. Deshaun Watson says that he didn't know about the allegation until Monday when all the reports came out from Mike Florio and everybody else. So if that is the case, and if that actually happened, if what is being alleged happened, and Deshaun Watson gets in trouble for it, if Deshaun Watson faces punishment by the NFL, gets suspended or gets put on the commissioner's exempt list, and we know now from Kevin Stefanski's own words and Deshaun Watson's own words to the Cleveland Press from today's press conferences, if that is the case, he did not disclose in writing that, hey, we have a couple of, situations going on that, hey, this might come out, this might come out. If Deshaun Watson said he didn't disclose it and Kevin Stefanski said they didn't know about it, and Deshaun Watson gets punished, that could be cause for the Browns to terminate the contract and to void the remaining part of the contract. So that was pretty huge information, at least from what I was able to gather, and I haven't really heard anyone else talk about it. And now maybe I'm wrong, and other people in Cleveland media has talked about it, but I haven't heard anyone else say anything about this part, about what Kevin Stefanski or Deshaun Watson said. And if that is the case, the Browns may have an opportunity to get out of Deshaun Watson's contract if the NFL deems that punishment for Deshaun is fit. Now, again, we've had statements made by Rusty Hardin, Deshaun Watson's lawyer. He essentially came out and said that the allegations were false, that Deshaun Watson is innocent. He's going to continue to focus on football, and that he's not going to make his defense in the media, and that anyone who's asking, basically, stop asking him any questions about the allegations in the media. He won't talk about them. He's going to just focus on football, which, again, I don't know if it's the best thing. I understand you want to try and plead the fifth. You don't want to incriminate yourself, but I mean, if you also are innocent, wouldn't you want to be trying to speak from the rooftops that or yell from the rooftops that you're innocent? I don't know. I mean, he's going to follow the advice of his lawyer. I mean, it's a smart thing to do. As someone who's it's the smart thing to do. Listen to your lawyer. Never, ever, ever, ever do something stupid. Just listen to your lawyer. Listen to your lawyer. But essentially, Rusty Hardin said, Deshaun Watson is innocent. Obviously, he's going to say that. He's Deshaun Watson's attorney. He's going to say that. But we also had a a reply by Tony Busby, the lawyer attorney for the woman accusing Deshaun Watson in this case, and he has been the attorney for many other women who have been accusing Deshaun Watson of sexual misconduct in the past. He essentially came out and said, at least he alleges, because we don't have any information, we don't have any evidence. He basically alleges that Deshaun Watson and Rusty Hardin knew about this case for the last 10 months, and that they have been trying to resolve the case in private the last couple of months, at least the last 10 months. And Deshaun Watson and Rusty Hardin and Tony Busby, they could not come to an agreement, and therefore they made the case public. They have made it, they are going to court over this case. That essentially is what happened with Tony Busby's response. I can probably reach. Yeah, I'll read here from what Tony Busby said on his Instagram post. We reached out to attorney Rusty Hardin's office for 10 months in an attempt to resolve this case. We knew this case was the most serious and egregious case brought against Watson to date, and our client, who is rightly traumatized by these events, wanted to attempt a private resolution. We thought that this was the best approach given the media storm that has occurred surrounding the legion of other claims. Unfortunately, Watson's team, or maybe his lawyers, couldn't or wouldn't give this case the attention it was due. Mr. Hardin has now tried to contact us since we filed suit. Unfortunately, we see that now is too little too late, but we are officers of the court, and we will give Mr. Hardin and his esteemed team the respect he has earned, and will work with him to progress this case in an efficient manner. And so now, of course, that's a huge news, because Deshaun Watson's saying, hey, I don't know who this woman is. And Tony Busby's like, yes, you do. We've been trying to tell you, and we've been trying to resolve this case for the last 10 months, and you guys just have been blowing us off. So obviously, again, Tony Busby, Rusty Hardin, they're going to be trying to, they're going to say whatever they have to say for their clients. If this is true, and Deshaun Watson and Rusty Hardin have been trying to, or at least have been knowing of, Tony Busby and this Jane Doe, who they've been trying to get, in contact with each other to try and resolve this case without going to court. I mean, that's huge too, because if that is true, Deshaun Watson's lying. He's saying he doesn't know. He didn't know about this allegation until the day it came out on Monday. If that's not true, and if what Tony Busby's saying is true, that they've been trying for 10 months to try and resolve this case out of court, then we have to get some answers. We do. I mean, it's just, at this point, it's getting ridiculous here. But Tony Busby also went on to say here that, finally, you should know that although I wasn't aware of her claims, Mr. Watson was well aware of this victim and her claims immediately after it occurred, and Watson was again reminded back when we filed the first lawsuit for the other multiple victims. I wasn't part of that. I can understand, given the number of women that Mr. Watson has interacted with, that he could forget some or many of them. However, given the nature of this alleged conduct in this case, I expect this incident is something he wouldn't soon forget. We look forward to a trial by jury. So, again, I mean, this is, like, again, Tony Busby, obviously, he's going to say what he has to say for his client. Rusty Hardin is the same way. But to me, Tony Busby is giving more information, at least more allegations, than Deshaun Watson and Rusty Harden are kind of like, they have to. I think, like, for me, you have to say something, right? Like, it, like, Tony Busby's like, hey, you guys said that you didn't know about this allegation, or Deshaun didn't know about this allegation, but we've been doing this for like the last 10 months, and you guys have been blowing us off. Okay, so you haven't, like, you so obviously you guys have known something. We've been trying to do something with you guys for the last 10 months, and you haven't responded. Okay, you have to respond to that. Even if you just say, no, that's not true. I haven't known about this allegation until just now. We haven't been talking for the last 10 months, or there hasn't been any communication that has been given by Tony Busby for the last 10 months. That's not true. Even just saying that, the little sentence like that. Okay, so now we have Deshaun Watson says that's not true. Then we have this other claim that Mr. Watson was reminded when we filed the first lawsuit for other multiple victims. So now Tony Busby's saying, you knew about this when we filed the other lawsuits, the first lawsuits that were against you years ago. If that's the case, like, like, that's cause that could help the Browns get out of this contract, because if Deshaun Watson was, according to Tony Busby, if Deshaun Watson knew about the victim and knew about this woman's claims when the first lawsuit was filed, then, and he didn't disclose that in writing to the Browns, because Kevin Stefanski said he didn't know about this allegation before. I mean, that throws a wrench in everything. That does. It throws a huge wrench in everything. Because if that is true, and Deshaun Watson did not disclose that this case could be a possibility in the future, and he was in that, maybe Rusty Harden or whoever knew about this allegation, and that this could potentially happen, and that the settlement or whatever could potentially happen within over a span of the last 10 months, and he didn't disclose that to the Browns have a good case to try and get out of this contract, because, I mean, it's according to Tony Busby. I'm not saying that it's true. Once again, it's all allegations. I'm not saying it's fact. I'm just saying it's allegations that I think Deshaun Watson and his team, if I'm Rusty Harden, I'm responding to this IG post. I'm not staying silent, because you're going to have to get out. These are two big claims that Tony Busby just put out there, saying, hey, we've been trying for the last 10 months to reach you guys, and you guys have been ignoring us, or we haven't come to a settlement. And two, Deshaun Watson knew about this woman's allegations from way back in the first lawsuit against him that happened with many other victims. He knew about this woman from way back in the day, from probably 2021. He knew about her. If that's the case and he didn't disclose it to the Browns, that is huge. That is huge, huge, huge. Again, it's not evidence. We don't know if it's true or not, but it's a very serious allegation that Deshaun Watson and his team need to come out and they just need to say, is this true or is this not true? Hey, we didn't know about this woman until just now. I mean, you said that before, but there's two other claims here. You're going to have to respond eventually, but those are pretty much the up-to-date current events regarding the Deshaun Watson saga with the Cleveland Browns. I tried to make that as concise as possible and give you guys my thoughts and opinions on it. I know it's going to be a little bit longer of a video. It's going to be 20 minutes, but I try to make it as concise as possible for you guys. So, but yeah, I mean, I just feel like we're back in 2022 again. This is what I feel like, we're back in 2022 when we first traded for Deshaun. But yeah, I mean, a lot of news and updates have happened the last 48 hours since the allegations dropped. But yeah, I mean, a lot is happening right now, and I would love to hear Deshaun and his team, respond to those two main points by Tony Busby. And again, Tony Busby could be lying. I'm not saying that it's true or whatever, but those are two big allegations, along with the allegations that the woman is alleging against Deshaun Watson, that have to be addressed. He was able to address, give, or at least give his side of his denial to the allegation made by the woman. Now Tony Busby has made two different allegations saying, hey, we've been trying to contact you guys for the last 10 months to try and get this thing resolved out of court. Now you also knew about this woman and her allegations when the first lawsuit was filed with many other women. So there's a lot to be answered for by everybody involved. And once again, I don't see this thing getting resolved anytime soon. If anything, best case scenario, I would assume this thing gets resolved by the off season, which is it's going to make this season drag out so much longer, especially if the Browns continue to be abysmal. It's a bad time to be a Browns fan right now. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for all the support you guys have been giving me recently on this channel. I mean, we've gained like around 50 subscribers in the last couple days. So thank you guys so much for all of the support. If you guys have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. I think we had like 87% of new viewers were not subscribed. What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? 87%? That's insane. Let's try and get that number down, all right? Subscribe to this channel, please. If you guys like sports content, if you like Browns content, hit the like button on this video. It helps us out in the algorithm, gets more eyeballs on this channel and on this video. Make sure you guys do that. And yeah, I will see you guys all in another video. Take care.